Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to check out Tropico for the iPhone. Now, I am a huge Tropico fan, so I just want to warn you going into this, I'm kind of biased. I'm a big fan. I've played Tropico since the beginning. I sat there beating my head against the wall in the original Tropico, trying to figure out until it finally clicked, and ever since then I was hooked. Tropico 2, yeah, it was different, but it was kind of cool. But Tropico 3 and onward, I've had a blast with. This particular version, it's just Tropico. That's just the name of it. This is more like Tropico 3 than any other game in the series. So if you've played Tropico 3 on the PC, then you'll be most familiar with this particular version. Although this particular iPhone version does a couple of things that the PC game doesn't, which is really weird. Whenever you enter build mode, for example, like when you go to build something, there's an architect mode. I don't remember that in Tropico 3. Now, keep in mind, I'm old. I forget things, so maybe I'm mistaken. But I don't remember there being an architect mode in Tropico 3. It's a top-down view, it's grid-based, and you can actually precisely place things. That's really cool. So my goal today is not to give you the tips and tricks behind Tropico, because I've covered this game ad nauseum at this point. But I do want to show you what the phone version is like, so that you can decide whether or not you want to pick it up for yourself. That's my main goal today. So let's just jump right into it. Options menu. This is everything here. I'm going to keep the music off. I don't know how much of it is copyright, so a lot of that Tropico music is that is based off of actual Spanish. I hesitate to use the word Spanish music. Every time I play the Tropico music in the car, Idly laughs at it. She's from Puerto Rico, and she's like, this is not Spanish music. And the lyrics she laughs at because they're so crazy. We were just laughing at some of the lyrics. Anyway, options menu here. And then if I go to new game, you've got tutorial, advanced tutorial, campaign, absolute power. Absolute power is the expansion in Tropico 3 for the PC version. So this phone version comes with the Absolute Power expansion for Tropico 3. I don't know why they just didn't call the iPhone game Tropico 3, because that's exactly what this is. There's also a Sandbox, and that's the one that I'm currently messing around with just to have some fun. I'll show you real quick what you can do with it. You can generate your own island, or you can pick from an existing one. From here, you can choose island size, elevation, mineral deposits, vegetation, and so on. You hit generate, and it generates for you. Next, there's political stability, world economy, tourism, game length, population, random events, prominent faction, and some other modifiers that you can enable if you want to. There's even a god mode. If you're new to the game, you may want to do that. Custom avatar. This is something I miss from like Tropico 5 and 6. The ability to set specific traits for yourself, like background, rise to power. Like if I tap heir apparent there, I can actually choose something else. Hotel corporate buyout, velvet revolution, religious appointment, elected as socialist. You get different buffs and debuffs depending on what you choose here. And then qualities down here. There's 2 positive, 2 negative. So you choose what kind of things you want for your person. But once you're done with all of that, then you jump into the game and you start playing. Now, for those of you that don't know what Tropico is a city builder that isn't like SimCity in the sense that you're putting down residential and commercial zones and industrial zones. You're putting down individual buildings so that you can bring people into your island, they can work, and you export stuff for money. They do pay rent, however, it's more about the exports than anything else. Also missing from this game is the import system. The later versions of Tropico, like I believe it was 4, 5, and 6, introduced the whole import feature where you could actually import goods, and all you needed was the manufacturing building, and then it would process that into finished goods, and then you could export back out. You wouldn't even need farms. You could just import the pineapple, for example, build a cannery, can the pineapple, and ship it back out and make a profit that way. You could do that. In Tropico 3, you have to be self-sufficient and you have to do everything yourself. So this game, as much as I like Tropico 3 and 4, for the way it is, like I still feel like I'm missing stuff from 5 and 6 that I wish were in here, but this game was released a while ago, so that stands to reason. So you start off with this palace, and the controls I'm still getting used to, but if you use your two fingers and you spread them apart, you zoom in and out, or if you push them, you sort of do them together, and they basically zoom in and out like you do that. You can also twirl the fingers around, and that causes the camera to twirl as well. One thing I didn't know how to do was to pan. So you actually have to use both fingers and go up and down with it. Well, assuming I can never get this to go right. Anyway, yeah, I think, there we go. Up and down. So yeah, I end up with something like this when I build. On the very top of the screen, you have your information like February 1973, the amount of money you have, this is the happiness, and then the population on the very top. There's time controls. I'll hit play. There's a menu in the upper right. Tap that and you can save. There's a quick guide. I will warn new players to Tropico, this is a complicated game. I just want to... This is not as easy as SimCity. If I were to tap on a tenement, it gives me information along the bottom. The rent is $1. And you're asking yourself, well, how much are people making? Well, let's go and look at a farm. The farm, wages are $8. I have the wages set. I can actually change the wages, and I can change it for all uneducated workers or just farmers. But you're wondering, okay, so $8, $1, that means they can live there. Okay, yes. But what you don't know is that people will pay, and this is based on general Tropico knowledge, people will pay 3 times, divided by 3, whatever their wages are. So they'll pay up to 3 for rent if they're making 9 wage or something like that. So the wage and housing and rent system and the older versions of Tropico are a little weird, and it takes some getting used to. Tropico 5 and 6, I believe, did away with that just by making a budget. There was budget 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and it was always on 3. But in the older versions of Tropico, you were stuck with individual wage adjustments that would probably, I love them. Once I got it, it was fine. But in the beginning, I couldn't figure it out to save my life, and it was confusing me. So there's a lot of information here, and like I said, I'm not here to teach you how to play this. This is more of a review of the mobile game. But when you tap on a building, you can, on the bottom there, see what all of these different things are. On the second tab, you can adjust the maintenance on that. There's the rent. You can adjust sliders there. And this is just for the housing building. You can see the financial situation. One thing I do like is it says distance to garage, food, religion, entertainment, and healthcare. You can actually see that here. I don't remember seeing that on the PC version, which is really cool. If I tap on a farm, it's got roughly the same information, but I can also see, I can change the crop from here as well. The little yellow arrows, by the way, are the workers that work in that building. There's also some buttons along the bottom of the screen. So the bottom left is a little folder. This is just information on your scenario and any events that might have popped up, like elections, for example, any natural disasters like earthquakes that might have hit. What your current score is, the difficulty, that kind of thing. The second one over, just information like as far as there's the US and the USSR in this game. In the future Tropicos, they introduced other ones too, but in the earlier versions, it was just US and USSR. You had to keep them happy as best you could. They would give you money every year, or invade you if they hated you. You can see what El Presidente is doing. Typically, he'll sort of just wander around and buff buildings. The third one are edicts that you can enact. Again, I miss a lot of the later Tropico. Like my favorite was Tropico 4 Modern Times. I love that. You could start with the crappy buildings, and then in Modern Times you got the better buildings, then you converted them. That was so cool. Tropico 4 remains my favorite version, with the Modern Times version. But here in Tropico quote unquote 3, these are the different edicts that you have access to. There's roughly 40 of those. Then you can see various filters, income, humidity, stuff like that. It's just, various visual filters. There's a construction menu. This is what the construction menu looks like. This is a list of everything that you can build in the game. Roads in this game are fairly easy to build. If I tap road and then road again there, double tap it. And if I want to build a road, I will tap and hold. So let's say I'll tap and hold on a road there. A little circle comes up and I just drag upward. And then I let go. And there's the road. It straightens out. I hit check mark and done and done. There's also an architect view as well. So I'm going to build something else. Let's go into build mode. What do I want to build? Teamsters Offices is a quick tip. I built a lot of those. They carry stuff around, and since your primary money is exports, you want people sending stuff to your dock so that you can export stuff. TV stations, cathedrals, churches, grade school. Let's build a grade school. I don't think I have one of those. I have high school and a college, but not a grade school. You really don't need a grade school, to be honest, but you can build one. Where am I going to put it? I guess I can throw it back here somewhere. Whatever. Yeah, so we'll just put it there. Now, I can enter architect mode. On the bottom left, there's an architect view, and I'll tap that. There it goes. Now it's this top-down view that I get. It's really cool. I wish this was a thing in Tropico 3 for the PC. Not that you really needed it, but... So I'm going to go ahead and just hit the check mark there, and then hit X. And now it switches back to regular view, and it takes some time, but my construction workers will come over here and build it, or I can fast build it if I want to. All in all, this particular version is quite stable. I have not had a single issue. Load times are fast. I typically don't like the campaign because unless you know the missions, some of the objectives are timed. And unless you prepare for it and know that it's coming, sometimes you get locked into a situation where there's no way you can complete your objective because your money's about to run out or for some other reason, or you can't build something quickly enough. So what I like to do in the campaign is hold off on doing the very first thing, unless it's timed, and just build up and make a crap ton of money. And then when I've got like $500,000 in the bank, I'll blow through the objectives like nothing because I've got all the money and I can do whatever I want at that point. That's how I treat the campaign, and it works every single time. But if you're new to this game, just be warned. This is there's a bit of a learning curve here. There's a lot to think about. Keeping your people happy. There's an almanac bottom right-hand corner. Here's a quick overview of all the different things you'll have to manage. There's average happiness, and if you tap on average happiness, you'll see food quality. That's all the different kind of crops and foods that you can introduce to your people. The wider variety of food, the higher the quality. Housing satisfaction, building shacks. Well, if you don't build housing, your people will build shacks to house themselves, but they have bad quality, so you need housing. And different housing has different housing quality score. Spiritual life, which is religious buildings, entertainment, healthcare, job quality, that's how much their wages are. Citizen safety, environment, liberty. You have to build these buildings to take care of these people. There's a financial balance to this. Swiss bank account. In the later versions of Tropico, the Swiss bank account had a use. You could actually like buy buffs and other buildings with your Swiss banking. In the older versions, including this one, it's just for score purposes, so you could ignore it if you really wanted to. People, again, you can quickly see here, you've got different factions at play, capitalists and intellectuals, and they are either happy or angry with you depending on what kind of buildings you have down. Like building no military buildings will anger the militarists. You can see your money, and you can see what your exports are. Like right now, I've got a ton of rum exporting, beef, papaya, cigars, bananas, canned pineapple. I'm making a good bit of money there. You can see your average pay versus the average Caribbean pay, which you have no control over. It's just the average market. So I may want to increase my pay at some point to keep my job quality levels up. Politics, you have to hold elections every now and again. You could roll with an iron fist and not have elections if you wanted to. You can, again, there's all this information in here. There's so much. But I have to warn you, like, this is what you're going to get if you decide to pick up this game for the first time. If you want to learn Tropico, my advice is play it on the PC first. Tropico 3 and 4 you can get for really cheap on the PC on a regular basis. The mobile version is roughly $12. If you see yourself out and about a lot and you have no other choice, I still recommend the phone version. It's not bad. It's just the interface takes some getting used to. But overall, I'm very happy with it. I have not had any issues. Load times are very quick. And it feels like Tropico 3 plus some features that I wish were in the original game. So there you go, folks. That was a quick look at the Tropico game for the iPhone. I don't know what the Android looks like, to be honest with you. I don't have an Android, but I assume it's roughly the same. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to me on Twitch and YouTube. That way you can stay up to date with any new content I'm going to publish. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. Take care.